Leonardo Gioiellino, or translated to Little Gem. So, welcome back to the channel. As always, I'm your host Aaron from Pen Venture. Welcome to another fountain pen review. Wow, it's been so much time since we haven't had a review for a Leonardo fountain pen. So I'm super excited because this is a new model from Leonardo, which is not that known. So probably Gioiellino doesn't ring a bell like maybe a Momento Zero, maybe a Furore, maybe a Grande from Leonardo will sound if you hear this pen model. Anyway, I was asked by Leonardo Officina Italiana to share my feedback on this very specific model. And what a better way to do this in a video review and to have you all join me to discover this new model from Leonardo Officina Italiana, and you can share your own thoughts in the comment section down below, and let's see if we are going to push this video to so much more people that will share their feedback, and Leonardo will see that and they will translate this feedback into more variations of this model, more changes on this model, or maybe more materials on this model. Gioiellino, or Little Gem, something that you would just simply take in your pocket and it's just like a small jewelry piece. You will be amazed to have this pen and to write with it. I will show you that it's so interesting. I think it's the proper pen to just narrow the gap in between vintage fountain pen enthusiasts and modern fountain pen collectors / enthusiasts because of the filling system, because how interesting it is, because of its size. I received this prototype, which is done in black acrylic resin. This is something that if you go on the Leonardo website, you will find it available in a celluloid or multiple materials. You will find a link down below. You can there go and check out this Gioiellino along other treasures from Leonardo Officina Italiana on their official website, and there you can order it if you like it. Also, you can subscribe to their newsletter to find out when such exquisite pieces of writing instruments are going to be available at Leonardo Officina Italiana. And I'm going to show you the customer experience first. This is what you get when you order such a pen from Leonardo. You get a special limited edition box, and inside we'll find the pen. Inside this, then you will have an international warranty guide with everything. Here you will have a bottle of black ink. It's gonna be available with a little bit to go on with the overall experience of owning such a pen. In true Pen Venture style, we're going to proceed with the overall shape of the fountain pen, some of the details of it. Then I'm going to show you a side-by-side size comparison because I believe it's super important. Why is that? Because it sits very, very nicely in between a Momento Zero Grande and the Momento Zero series, which is the initial series of Leonardo Officina Italiana. And the size is beautiful, and you will see that in a few moments. Then, of course, we're going to be delighted with the writing experience with such a fountain pen. It has a super 14-karat gold nib by Leonardo Officina Italiana. Then we're going to proceed with some personal opinions of mine regarding this pen model. The overall shape of the Leonardo Gioiellino is one which I find super, super interesting. I wanted to have your quintessential classic fountain pen. Gold trim, black and material choice or / color choice, and they delivered just that. Having a look next to a Leonardo Officina Italiana Momento Zero Grande, we can clearly see that the shape it's a little bit more tamed down. It's not that tapering, it's not that drastically increasing or decreasing in the diameter, and everything works super, super great, eye-pleasing, everything it's flowing. As you may expect from a Leonardo Officina Italiana, we have that trademark pointy and finial on a black pen. You can really see how much care and attention goes into polishing by hand each pen. And we visited the Leonardo Officina Italiana factory, and I've showed you previously in my videos how they are polishing individual pens by hand, and on a black pen it shows because this is just like a black piano. If you watch closely, you will see it's sublime, and the polishing job on this fountain pen is amazing. Vintage inspired clip with a small wheel. This is very, very handy, and it works really, really good if you clip your fountain pens. The overall shape of the cap starts to pick up in girth from this end towards this ring configuration right here on the cap, and if we were to compare this cap next to a Momento Zero Grande cap, you can observe that the picking up in girth is not that drastical, making up this pen right in the gap in between the small Momento Zero series and the larger Momento Zero Grande series. Let's move further and let's check out the ring configuration. And we have two rings, one larger cap band and one smaller one. And in between we have some black resin, which sets those gold plated accents really nice, and they show. And just like I told you, the classical black pan gold trim is something that I deem to find super attractive towards how I like to collect fountain pens. Then you can clearly see right here a step down. This is not sharp at all and makes the transition in between the barrel and the cap a little bit more further right here at the edge, and it's smooth, that transition. Let's move further and we have one complete turn of the cap. So if you want to have this pen in a meeting to take quick notes, one turn of the cap, it's very small amount of threads. If you want to uncap, write something, put the cap back. And now we take a quick look at this glorious nib. I just simply love the Leonardo nibs. The new model La Fenice, which is stamped, it has this wings of the Leonardo brand, and it's available in a variety of different nib sizes: extra fine, fine, medium, broad, and a stub. This nib is powered by a heat-setted ebonite feeder, which is in-house cut and made by Leonardo Officina Italiana, and this combo works really good. It has flow, it's smooth, and of course by now you know that we are Leonardo Officina Italiana retailers, and possibly one of the biggest Leonardo Officina Italiana retailers outside of them, and we have this nibs passing through our hands pretty much a lot of time. So I check each nib. Let me report to you that we find this nibs to be super consistent in the way that they are offering a super nice writing experience. Leonardo Officina Italiana invested a lot of time and attention and tweaked this nib, and simply saying what we have right here in front of us, it's a version which works super great, and you're gonna see that in a few moments in the writing experience. Right here the size, Leonardo, 14 karat, the gold content of the nib, everything gets stamped. They have a stamping die, and I just love this overall design. And let's check out the ergonomics. We have the section, which is something super basic. It's hourglass shape, but the most thinnest point, it's right here close to the nib. Personally, I like hourglass shaped sections. I find them super comfortable, and you can clearly see this by gripping this fountain pen. This is something that I normally use, and I just love how ergonomic it feels. Very wieldy, the way you are gonna hold it, very balanced, light, and I do recommend this pen shape, pen model, call it whatever you like, for extended periods of writing. Right here we have the threads. Those are not sharp at all. They are not super tiny. They are a little bit bigger, so they are polished and they don't feel rough or anything like this. You can hold the pen by them. Right here we have a step up. This step up, it's very well polished. It blends in. Don't worry, if you hold the pen even by here, it's still comfortable. So we have this beautiful barrel, slightly tapering in towards the end of the barrel, starts at the thickest point right here, and gradually just reducing a few millimeters, 1, 2, maximum 2 millimeters in diameter. And right here at this ring we have the barrel finishing, and then we have the end knob. This is not detachable. You can untwist it, you can do whatever you like. It's not coming out, and you shouldn't force it to come out, because the filling system inside this pen doesn't require that end knob to be turned, removed, or anything just like that. Talking about filling system, let me tell you that this filling system, it's one which it's okay if I call it vintage. I think so. You don't see these days something like this, and I'm a huge fan of doing old things the new way. And Leonardo Officina Italiana, I think, nailed this with this Gioiellino model. Leonardo is calling this filling system a lateral filler, but it's called generic a lever filler. Lever. The Leonardo Officina Italiana Gioiellino, right here inside the barrel, there is a rubber sack. And this lateral filler, how does it work? Well, it's super easy, but for you out there that are teenagers just like me in collecting fountain pens hobby, I don't consider myself a person which has infinite amount of knowledge, but I am limited and I'm here to learn, and what I know already by now, I want to share with you in videos like this. So I'm gonna zoom out and I'm gonna show you how this works. Just like I told you, inside the Gioiellino there is a sack just like the one that I have right here. You have this right here on the barrel, and on it engraved Leonardo 2023, and this is a resemblance to something that Delta did back in the day. Inside the barrel, the sack will be compressed whenever you just gonna pop up this lever, and you need some fingernails. You can have it sit up in this position right here, and inside the sack will be compressed whenever you're gonna push this lever to this position up like this. For those of you that are accustomed to pans like Lami's, like Twisbys, like modern fountain pans, cartridge converters and everything, this is something that you will deem to find a little bit more interesting, to say so, because why not? Watches usually are pleasing as they are more complicated. So this is a little bit more of a complication. It's a take on the past writing instruments with their filling systems, and I believe this is a brilliant move to check out to see if there is interest in our days for these filling systems. And there you have the sack inside the barrel being compressed. So all of the air of the sack is just simply removed right now. And just to show you a little bit more how it's working, I'm gonna use this glass of water. Usually if I just simply do like this, you will see bubbles that are coming out. So yeah, this is the sack compressing inside. And now with the lever in this position like this, we removed the entire air from the pan. And now if we click it back while the pan has the nib submerged in water like this, now the sack tries and succeeds in having the same shape initially, sucking in ink. And just like a demonstration, we're gonna be just simply now pressing down, and some water will come out, or some ink if the fountain pen is inked. So this is how this lever filler is working in normal use condition. Anyway, now that you've seen all of the details of this fountain pen and everything that's specific to the Leonardo Gioiellino, now let's check out a side-by-side size comparison, then let's have the writing sample, and in the end, let's have some conclusion regarding this specific pen model. The size of the Leonardo Gioiellino is one that I find super interesting, because to this point, there isn't anything that can just simply make the gap smaller in between a Momento Zero and a Momento Zero Grande, and I think the Gioiellino sits super comfortable exactly in that specific spot. And here we have a look in between the Leonardo family fountain pens. We have a Momento Zero Grande, we have a Gioiellino, we have a Momento Zero, and we have a Momento Magico. Uncapped, the Gioiellino sits just in between a Momento Zero and a Grande. Capped like this, the Gioiellino measures 147 millimeters in between ends. Uncapped in writing position like so, it's measuring 130 millimeters. Posted like this, it's measuring 172 millimeters. The total weight of the fountain pen, fully inked and capped, is 27 grams. And uncapped in writing position, it's 19 grams. Usually this is the time that we are going to talk about pricing, but for this specific fountain pen, I don't have a specific pricing. What I can tell you is that if you go on the Leonardo website, you will find one which is available in a very, very nice celluloid at around 600 euros plus or minus. I've seen some other more precious celluloids in regards of the rarity, the color, being a little bit more than 600. How much? I cannot remember. Anyway, in my opinion, for a gold nib fountain pen with an intricate filling system like this lever filler or / lateral filler, how Leonardo Officina Italiana is naming it, I believe it's a decent price. When you get involved and also put celluloid in the description or the title of such a fountain pen, now you have something which justifies that specific pricing. Also, I forgot to mention, this has a 14 karat gold size 6 nib, not the size 8 bigger one. Let's ink up this pen and let's check out how it's writing in a very nice handwriting sample. And we're gonna use something from Mont Blanc as an ink. This is a very, very nice ink, which sadly I haven't used that much lately, and I just want to try it again in a fountain pen. And we're gonna be just simply moving the lever down, just be sure that the whole section is covered by ink. And now leave it like 4, 5, 6 seconds inside the inkwell in order to have time for that rubber sac to get in its original shape and to draw ink in the process and not have something of a very, very small amount of ink inside the fountain pen. And let's begin. We have the pen, which is Leonardo Gioiellino. We have the nib, 14 karat gold, broad, La Phoenix, translated. Then we have the ink, Mont Blanc. I believe this is royal blue. Paper. By now you know already my favorite paper, Tomoe River paper, 52 GSM. How wet is this nib? So this is a broad. We can expect a moderate to wet ink flow, and this is exactly what the pen is delivering. Super, super wet, not a fire hose wet. If I wanted to have super, super wet, I should have adjusted it to be more wet. This is how it comes, so this is a moderate wet ink flow. Now let's check out some normal figure of 8s. And the nib is super, super smooth, super nice. We don't have that super, super stub-like characteristics of what you will find in broads this day. So this is something that I find super interesting because it's a little bit more round of a tipping ball. So the writing, horizontal and vertical lines are pretty much the same. Flex, not that you would press on a broad point to flex it, but the nib has some give and we have some pooling of the ink, and this takes the nib to a B+ size. Now let's check up the famous sentence to see the fountain pen writing with a little bit more speed, with a little bit more flamboyant way of writing, to see if we can make this nib railroad, skip, have hard starts. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Well, as you see, the nib is performing super, super great, and here you have some very, very nice way of showing if a nib has hard starts. We don't see that. We have no skippings, nothing whatsoever. There is no hesitation. The nib is writing perfect. The pen, it's a joy to use and it's very comfortable, and I find this nib super, super great. It's smooth. It has some feedback. I have left it as it came, so I just love a little bit more feedback than buttery smooth. So I like a hint of feedback, something that just grips you to the moment and gives you the vibration from the paper that transmits into your fingers, and you feel that you're writing with something which is producing a feeling, a reaction from the writing motion. So I love a hint of feedback, and this nib provides just that. Beautiful writing, beautiful fountain pen, interesting shape, size and everything. Now let's have some opinions regarding the overall details of this Leonardo Officina Italiana Gioiellino. The first time that I've heard Leonardo Officina Italiana trying to do a sac slash lever filler fountain pen these days, I said, well, it's gonna be tricky, because from the past I know that fountain pens with a rubber sac in the barrel are prone to have the sac in need of replacement. It's not super hard, but you need to have the sac, you need to have the sac at the correct size. Then you would have to have a glue, shellac or something else to re-glue, and you would need to open up the fountain pen. It requires a little bit more fiddling to it. So I said, imagine doing such a fountain pen and having pretty much a lot of this fountain pen showing up for replacements of the rubber sac. But Leonardo Officina Italiana did something modern, did something sustainable, did something which involves the use of materials like modern rubbers, which will translate into a more reliable writing experience with such a fountain pen. So kudos to that. I'm super happy that fountain pen companies don't just simply go about and search the new hype, the new filling system, the new material, and ride on that. I love to see Leonardo Officina Italiana looking back, taking inspiration, doing old things the new way. Just like I told, super happy to see someone brave enough to do a lever filler these days. I look forward to having more of your feedback regarding this fountain pen that can be shared in the comment section, and then Leonardo Officina Italiana can see, and if they will decide at one point to do such a fountain pen in high volume, high numbers, to be available on pretty much the entire retailing network, it's going to be up to you to convince them if you want to see such a fountain pen, if you want to own such a fountain pen. What I've experienced with this fountain pen, it's something super nice, because it's the fountain pen which bridges the gap in between the Grande and the Momento Zero. So I believe this choice is amazing. It's not something super big, it's not something super small, so it's exactly where it should be. If it was me retailing this fountain pen, I would just simply put a disclaimer to be used with safe inks, just to be sure. We are not going to be including in safe inks from different companies that have glitter, sheen, all sorts of aggregates, mixes and everything. Just stick with something which is reliable, like something from Diamond, the normal fountain pen inks, 30 and 80 milliliter bottles, Mont Blanc, Waterman, those are safe inks. Something to point out regarding this filling system, I've just simply used this fountain pen for the past 2 weeks, and I've seen that I'm usually the kind of a guy that goes in the morning, puts a red ink, by noon it's green, by afternoon it's blue. Well, with this fountain pen, you have to start from just simply going from the lightest ink when it's super clean, the fountain pen. Like for example, in the morning you would use red, wash it, change it to green, because there is some residue inside the sac with the whole point of using a red ink. Like for example, you will have some red left in the sac. When you put something like for example a yellow, a lighter color, that red will combine with the ink that you put in the fountain pen, and it will give up a complete new color, to say so. If you go from light to more darker, and then from darker, from red to green, from green to blue, from blue to black, there wouldn't be no problem if you change those inks in that specific order, in that specific day. But if you go with blue and then you want yellow inside, you will end up with a more greenish yellow ink color in the fountain pen, because cleaning this pen, it's a little bit more difficult. If you're the type of person that leaves their ink in the fountain pen and then re-inks it with the same ink, this will be no problem. Ink quantity is not that great. Usually I write a lot with fountain pen, so in my daily use I write like 3 or 4 pages in a journal, then I have letters for each specific parcel. In that kind of a use with this fountain pen, I've went through a full inking in just like 3 or 4 days. Take this into consideration if you're planning to get such a Leonardo Gioiellino. Let me know all of your feedback in the comment section down below. Let me know your opinion, let me know your questions, let me know your feedback regarding the Leonardo Gioiellino in the comment section down below. Let's convince Leonardo to make more or to stop here. It's your decision. Let me know in the comment section down below. And I hope you find my content useful. If you do so, let me know, give it a thumbs up. This will help me a lot with the YouTube algorithm and everything else. And also, if you are looking for a next writing instrument, scroll down, you'll find the website Pen Venture. Go there, help me to grow the Pen Venture YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. Click there, turn the notification bell on, and you will be notified whenever we have new content. If you want to continue watching more of my content, I'm gonna leave you this right here. You can click and enjoy. As always, I'm your host, Darren from Pen Venture. I look forward to seeing you next video. Take care, stay safe, bye-bye.